Carolina is 1-0 in ACC play, and it's all thanks to Caleb Wilson's best performance yet and Seth Trimble doing something no Tar Heel guard had done yet this season.
This is Tyler Zeller, and you're listening to Locked On Tar Heels.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, it's Wednesday, December 31st, 2025. Happy New Year's Eve to everybody. It's great to be together live on this New Year's Eve morning. Hope you got some great plans for tonight. I'm going to need to go get a nap at some point this afternoon. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Schade. You're joining me at the place to get your Tar Heels content every single day. It's all part of the Locked On Network, the #1 sports podcast network. I want to thank you for making us your first listen or watch on this Wednesday morning to get all your Carolina content. Special shout out to all our everydayers out there, all the great members of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord, and of course our insiders as well. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. Okay, here's where we're headed today on the show. Obviously prime time. Last night, Carolina knocks off Florida State 79-66. So today is going to be our kind of next day look back at it. We'll have our Four Corners recap, including a down game for Henry Vesar in which he still grabs a double-double. We'll have our Shady stat of the game. And as I say that, I'm realizing I completely forgot my sunglasses, so I don't know how we're going to do that well. Boo. Tar Heels 13-1 overall, 1-0 in ACC play. Here's the biggest takeaway from this entire game. This is a Carolina game that, frankly, they never ran away with. But for the entire final, basically 12 minutes of the game, 11:50 to be exact, Carolina led by double digits, and they never let Florida State get it back to single digits. You remember, it got down to Florida State cut it to 44-43. Carolina goes on this decisive 18-3 run and never looked back. And honestly, I know there's like, it was kind of sleepy, slow start. Carolina nearly let FSU take a lead in the second half. But when it's all said and done, I'll take a 13-point win to start ACC play. Thank you very much, right? All of this is because, yes, there were a bunch of guys that contributed, but this is due in massive part to Caleb Wilson and Seth Trimble. In a season where we've had a lot of Caleb Wilson games, this was the Caleb Wilson gamiest of them all. This one, for my money's worth, topped every single one of them. And yes, some of that is because of the statistical greatness. 22 points, which is too shy of tying his career high, 16 rebounds, which was his career high, 6 assists, which ties his career high, having the 2 blocks, just 2 turnovers to go with it. All of that kind of stuff is great. All of the notoriety of, hey, it's now 6 straight 20-point games, which passes Phil Ford for the most by a Carolina freshman ever. It is the 10 double-doubles in his first 14 games of college, right? Like that would be impressive for anyone, whether you're Hansborough or Baycott or whomever. He's done it in his first 14 games. It is where are we at? 6, 7 games. I can't even remember now that he's had a 2010 double-double. The 7 times that both he and Henry Vesar have had a double-double in the same, all of that stuff is wild. But you look at all the other stuff that Caleb is doing as well. He's ripping and running, leading the break, and dropping dimes to guys. It's the things from the top of my dear sweet wife just brought me some wonderful New Year's Eve shades for the Shady stat of the game. Check this out for those of you watch on YouTube. This is incredible, and I love you so hard. Oh my goodness. I love this. What a day. Happy New Year's, everybody. It's the attentiveness on defense, his length, his timing on those blocks. It was almost like that one block. It was almost like he olayed it and was like, go ahead, little buddy, this is cute. And then just pinned it against the backboard and led the break back the other way, pitching ahead to Seth Trimble, right? Like all of that makes Caleb so special and unique. And oh, by the way, like if the game's not enough, It's his gregarious personality. It's his desire to connect with fans. It's his desire to be like, he wants the smoke. Some guys are really, really good, but they're kind of like, yeah, I'm good. He's like asking for it and backing it up game after game after game. It boggles my mind. And so because of all of that, it's to the point now where he has broken some records, like the 6 straight 20-point games, or is on the verge of some others in terms of some freshman things, some double things, all of that at Carolina and eventually ACC and NCAA level. And so I truly think it's time, and I don't want to dive into this conversation yet because I want to do it on another show, but it's to the point now where we legitimately need to start trying to answer the question, where does Caleb Wilson fall in the best freshman at Carolina ever list? There's names that obviously immediately come to mind, whether it's, I mentioned a second ago, Tyler Hansbrough, Brendan Wright, Harrison Barnes, Kobe White, those Phil Ford, obviously, right? Those are all names that we've got to think of. And so at some point down the road, and not too far down the road, because I want to start having this conversation, where will Caleb fall on this list? It's if he's not number one, he's got to be top 5 at top 3 at worst already. Just 14 games in. And remember, he's done all this in 14 games, and he still has 17 regular season games left, plus however many postseason games Carolina plays. It looks like, unless something goes weird, they're going to be a top 4 seed in the ACC, meaning they get a double bye. We'll play on the quarterfinals, so we'll see what happens there. Something would have to catastrophically happen for Carolina to not only not make the NCAA tournament, but to not have a good seed in the NCAA tournament, and therefore probably play multiple games there. So we're probably looking at Caleb still having at least 20 more collegiate games, and I'm saying at least. And you see what he's already done. Now, the flip side of that is, okay, yeah, Isaac, but he's got to continue to maintain it. Sure. And we see freshmen all the time kind of fall off the cliff at some point in ACC play. And maybe we'll see. But Caleb Wilson has shown me nothing to suggest that he cannot continue to do what he's doing game in and game out. And it's wild and crazy. And you look at what Caleb's done. We'll talk more about Henry here in the second segment. But then now you add in Seth Trimble back into the mix. This was his 3rd game back. And I said it last week when he came back, but it's like, okay, what's Seth going to be able to do when he comes back? Well, so far, all he's done is score 17, 12, and 20 points in those 3 games, shooting 6 of 13, 5 of 12, and 6 of 13. So I'm trying to do that math in real time because I didn't do it in advance. That would be 17 of 38, which 17 divided by 38. Seth is shooting 44.7% from the field. Didn't make a 3 last night. It was the first time he hadn't made a 3 since he's been back, but man, he did work at the free throw line. 8 of 11, had 7 rebounds. That's Seth Trimble doing Seth Trimble things. He had 2 and 4 in his first 2 games back. Didn't have as many assists yesterday, 2 to 1 turnover, but also had a block and 4 steals. And so now that you see Seth coming back and doing those kind of things in addition to what Caleb is doing and in addition to what Henry is doing, and my goodness, you guys, it puts Carolina's capability wildly back to where we thought it could be preseason, despite all the naysayers and the negative prognosticators. It was clear that this team was highly capable. And here's what it is. I mentioned in the cold open, Seth did something last night that no Carolina guard has done this year. Frankly, no one not named Caleb Wilson or Henry Vesar has done this year, is Seth scored 20 points. That is the first time a non-Wilson Vesar Tar Heel has hit the 20-point mark this season. And that's critical because now if you have that 3-headed monster, it's almost a guarantee that somebody else can add a 4th into that in any given game. Last night, it was Kyan Evans who broke out a little bit. Some games, it's been Luka Bogovac. The understanding is that maybe Henry, both a little bit under the weather. So there's that. Some games, it might be Jonathan Powell going off on a barrage of 3s. It's going to be Luka. You might have Derek Dixon pouring it in. It's hard to know, but if you've got those 3 and then just on a rotating basis, somebody else is doing it, man, that's going to put Carolina in a stratosphere that we didn't sniff from them last season. And so to all that point, Stay Vigilant asked last night on our YouTube chat, Isaac, do you legit honestly feel we're a top 10 right now or top 15? And I'm not sure if you're saying that as like, top 10, top 15, or you're saying like top 10 versus top 15. I just interpreted it as the former, top 10 or top 15. And my answer is yes, I do. And there's a couple of reasons for that, Stay Vigilant and others who are asking that question. Part of it is because of Carolina's defense, which you know how consistent it's been. Let's just quote the biggest stat. Still no team has hit 75 against Carolina, and that includes Florida State, who was averaging 85 a game coming in. They scored 66. Part of it is because of what I just said about Seth being back. Were Seth's injury season ending, I would not think Carolina was top 15. Part of it is because some of the bench guys are starting to become more of a legit part of the rotation now, whether it's Dixon, whether it's the backup big man minutes being backed up a little bit because of Jaron Stevenson. Some of it is and Jonathan Powell really feeling like he's starting to find his way a little bit, all of that. Now, if I'm going to say Carolina is top 10 or top 15, what I would technically need to do is go through the other teams in that and figure out where Carolina is. Obviously, they're ranked there. Yes, but I get Stay Vigilant in saying, yeah, but do you think they actually belong there? I really do. Is it top 10? That's where at some point I need to do a segment where I go through the top 10 and go team by team and say, yes, Carolina's better than them. No, they're not. And I think I love that exercise because that helps you not just say, yeah, they're a top 10 team, and actually figure out where you think they fall. So I'm going to do that at some point as well. And that's ultimately the thing. If Carolina wants to be that team, it can't just be Caleb. It can't just be Henry, and it can't now just be Seth, because good grief, that poor guy beat himself up on Tuesday night. Like that's not sustainable. These other guys are going to have to continue to step up, and that's what we'll keep our eyes on if they're able to do that. Well, we've often said this year, oh man, that was a down Caleb Wilson performance, but it still was a dub. Well, last night we learned that Henry Vasar can turn in a poor performance and still get a double-double as well. We'll get to that and the rest of the Four Corners recap coming up in just a second. Right after I tell you about FanDuel. Fridays already feel different during basketball season. FanDuel is making them now even better. Every Friday night before the games tip off, FanDuel gives fans just like you a new way to kick off the weekend with what they're calling the NBA Happy Hour, which is your official pregame. It's a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern time leading into these games. Man, that's going to make it appointment viewing with the NBA Happy Hour. It'll be things like boosts, bonuses, other surprises, but you can find it right there in the app. And it's easy to check the weekly specials before tip-off and then make a move before that 90-minute window closes. The timing is perfect, man. It's leading into your Friday night, going to add extra energy to it. I love it. It's so cool. By the way, Carolina going to be at SMU. The first of three out of their next 4 games are road games. So at SMU on Saturday, first trip to Dallas. Carolina, I'm curious to see. I imagine Carolina will be favored at FanDuel, but I don't think it's going to be a ton, maybe like 5.5 or something like that. Curious to see where that line is going to go. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour. Again, every Friday night from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. A little basketball, a little action, a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour only on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Hey, thanks so much for making Locked On Tar Heels your first listener watch of the day. Thanks for making Locked On Network the #1 sports podcast network there is. Let me get a little coffee sip here. It's New Year's Eve, you know what I'm saying? Let's get after it. And for those of you that are here locked in on a New Year's Eve, I want to make sure you know about our brand new Everydayers Club at the Locked On Network. It's a way that you can connect even deeper with the show. There's 2 tiers to it, depending on what sort of perks you want. I'd love for you to check it out. The link is lockedontarheels.supercast.com, and you can find that link down in the show notes. Check it out. Be a good thing. All right, Four Corners recap from this game. For those of you who maybe there's somebody new with us, let me tell you that Four Corners recap. It's something we do, a Four Corners preview before every game and a recap after every game. It's an homage to Coach Dean Smith's Four Corners offense. So here's where we start with it. Even on a night where Henry Vesar was not at his best, and again, the understanding is that maybe he was under the weather a little bit, but literally in the first half, 0 points. And even on a night where he was not, wow, Henry Vesar, this dude still finishes with a double-double, 12 points, 12 rebounds. Incredible stuff. Really impressive. And really important, too, because as, you know, a lot of the first half was Kyan Evans threes, was Caleb Wilson doing Caleb Wilson things, 1 rebound shy of a double-double in the first half, oh, by the way. And Seth helping out and scoring a bunch as well. And I was like, man, this might be one of those games where, you know, Henry just doesn't do it. Part of it was Florida State was fronting the post, kind of shutting things down, kind of struggling. Carolina settling for a lot. There's all of that. And so what is it that unlocked Henry? In fact, Melinda Dolphin, asked, how did Henry break through the strong defense in the second half? It's a great question. You noticed literally the first play out of the halftime locker room is Henry for a dunk. And it was like one of those clear indications from where a coach realizes, all right, my man ain't doing it yet, hasn't been able to get it going. Let's run a set, get Henry a dunk, and then we'll move on. And then multiple of at least 2 of, because it was just those 12 points were 6 2-point field goals. Didn't attempt a 3 and missed his 2 free throws he took. 2 of them, I think, were offensive rebounds and dunks. And I think one of them was a Derek Dixon penetration and just kind of wrap around to Henry. And yes, it was penetration from their wing, kind of wrapped around to Henry, and he was able to dunk it. And the other, maybe, no, because he had 5 dunks. 5 of his 6 baskets were dunks. Another was over the top from Caleb Wilson, and he was able to dunk it. So that's 5 of the 6 right there. So very intentional, just penetration or finding Henry and getting him a dunk opportunity, or Henry doing it himself with offensive rebounds. I thought part of it, too, is if he was feeling under the weather, the second half, it looked like he had a boost of energy. I don't know if it was like they gave him something at halftime. Maybe he got some more fluids and was feeling better in the flow of the game. But clearly there was something different in the second half from an energy standpoint from Henry too. So it's nice to know that, yes, Caleb can have a down game and still get a double-double, but it's even nicer to know that so too can Henry. Point number 2 on our Four Corners recap. I mentioned Carolina's defense earlier, holding every opponent under 75 points so far this season, and that's incredible. And you wonder about the sustainability of that. Can Carolina continue to make it happen? Is that going to continue to be a thing? And so far it has been. But where I want to go with it right now is what Carolina has done in terms of feel like it's an anomaly if it's just like, oh, they're just not making many shots. But what Carolina has done consistently is held their opponents under 40% shooting for the season. Carolina has played 14 games. Literally only 4 opponents have been able to get above 40% from the field for the entire game. I can even tell you those in real time. It was Kansas, who shot 42.4%. I'm looking at 2. Sorry. It was Kansas who shot 44.8%. It was St. Bonaventure, who was 41.4. It was Michigan State, who was 51.7, and it was Kentucky, who was 43.4. So just 4 opponents have been over 40%. 3 of those didn't even get to 45%, and Michigan State's the only one that got over 50%. Every other opponent, the other 10, have all been under 40%, including the last 6 teams in a row. Yes, the last 6 games, Carolina has held their opponent under 40% shooting, starting with Georgetown and running all the way through last night against Florida State. And consequently, Carolina's holding their opponents to just 36.1% from the field. That's 4th best in the nation, you guys. They're holding their opponents to 63.7 points per game. That's 18th in the nation. So I am bewildered by this number that Carolina's ability to hold their opponent under 40% shooting. Are there going to be some other opponents in ACC play that get above it? Yes, absolutely there will be. But to this point, if it has been above 40%, it hasn't been by much. And so Carolina continuing to roll in that way. One of the things we talked about last night was Carolina's ability to hold on to the basketball against a Florida State team that was intent on mucking it up and doing it. Like they forced their opponents into 17.5 turnovers a game. Carolina turned it over just 8 times. One of the beautiful parts of that is on the flip side of that, Carolina's assist numbers continue to be strong. Let me tell you about their assist percentage over the last 5 games. It's been good all season, like the best of the Hubert Davis era by far. But it has jumped to an even higher level over the course of the last 5 games. Carolina has their assist percentage in those 5 games has been at an individual level has been at least 58.8% in each one of them. They've had at least 18 assists total in all 5 of those games. And it was 20 or above in 3 of the 5. Over all 5 of those games compiled together, Carolina's assist percentage is 67.1%. And one of the issues, and Coach Rob and I are actually going to talk about this on tomorrow's show, one of the issues that popped its head quite a bit last night against Florida State was Carolina's inability they just dribbled. And so there's some possessions where things didn't look great. But man, when the ball's moving, when Carolina, and this is the thing I continue to beg for, when they get the ball in the post, teams double the post, and either Henry or Caleb is so quick to start the ball moving again, and it results in a great wide open look for somebody. One of the possessions last night, he didn't knock it down, but the ball moved crisply and quickly, got to Kyan Evans at the top of the key, and he had a wide open look for 3. One of the ones he didn't knock down last night in his 5 of 12 from 3 performance. So Carolina's assist percentage continues to be astounding. And then our 4th point in the Four Corners recap, and this one is the negative one. Carolina has not proven themselves to be a highly capable 3-point shooting team this season. Coach Davis has said otherwise, and I thought so too, because of the individual shooters on this team and their career percentages. But until proven otherwise at some sort of consistent level, I don't buy it. I cannot buy that this Carolina team is going to be able to do good things from beyond the arc. Sadly, I wish they would. And it's funny because when you think about how good the front court is, how much gravity they draw, there's all of these wide open looks, like we were just saying. But to this point, Carolina as a team has proven incapable of knocking them down at a truly consistent level. Carolina for the season is shooting 32.9% from 3, which is 212th in the nation. Now, again, thankfully, the defense is doing everything they are, and that keeps it up. But this is one of the, you think about why wasn't Carolina able to get the ball inside? Well, we're going to start seeing teams clog the paint more and more and more, daring Carolina to take threes. And that's what Florida State did. And Carolina was seduced into it early last night. They were just taking so many threes. And yes, Florida State is a 3-happy team, but Carolina doesn't need to be. They just need to take the right threes with the right shooters and knock them down. They're not going to win in a game where they're seduced into a 3-point barrage. It's just not going to happen. Yes, on a one-off, they might. But at a season-long level, the averages have not proven to be capable in that way. That said, though, Kyan Evans showing signs of life from beyond the arc is a huge win, because on a night when Henry Vesar, who is Carolina's best 3-point shooter by percentage this season, he shouldn't be. It should be Kyan Evans or Luka leading the charge in that regard, or Jonathan, something like that. But man, Kyan Evans showing signs of life there is a great thing. So there's the Four Corners recap from this game. Henry Vesar having a double-double on a down night. Carolina continuing to hold opponents under 40% from the field, including the last 6 straight. Assist percentages way up, and it's looking great. And Carolina not looking like a great 3-point shooting team. So it's time for the Shady Stats of the game. I'm bringing you two today. Yes, sir. Seth Trimble changes the dynamics of this team in a massive way. I'll explain that and more to wrap the show in just a second. Right after I tell you about game time. Y'all, there's nothing like college football season. We got a college football playoff game tonight on New Year's Eve. It'll be Miami. It'll be Ohio State. Can the ACC represent? We will find out. We got the other three college football playoff quarterfinal games tomorrow. Going to be really good stuff, man. The energy, the bands of it all. It's moments that you remember forever. But getting tickets to those kind of games, those high-level games, woo, that part used to be frustrating. The long lines, having to remember logins for the third-party site you're trying to get, prices jumping up on you at checkout, and that's where Game Time comes in. It gives the advantage back to the fans. The easiest way to unlock amazing college football tickets in just a few taps. You can check it out. You can find how easy it is. Go ahead, look for some Carolina basketball tickets for upcoming games. Maybe you live in the Dallas area and you want to go see them play at SMU. Maybe you live out in Northern California and you want to see the first ever ACC road swing for the Tar Heels out to Stanford and Cal. That's next week, man. Make sure you get those tickets. Or maybe you want to see Carolina at home over the course of the next couple games, like Wake Forest coming up. That'll be great stuff. Check it out. You'll find it at Game Time, where you can go from browsing to buying in just a few minutes. They've also got zone deals. I think this is really cool. You pick the section you want to sit in, and Game Time picks out the specific seat for you, and it's another way to save even more money. So take the guesswork out of buying all these college sports tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONCollege at checkout for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Oh, baby. Thanks again to my dear sweet wife for bringing me these wild New Year's, what is it, like Christmas trees? What do we got? Yeah, it's gold Christmas trees with some purple balls on them. If you're an audio listener to the podcast, you might just need to swing over to YouTube and check out how ridiculous I look right now, but it's incredible stuff. All right. Two shady stats of the game for you today. Number one, we've talked about Seth Trimble some already on the show, but I want to continue to shout him out because of the way he dynamically changes Carolina, and it's with this stat. Fast break points for Carolina with and without Seth Trimble. Remember, Seth played the first two games of the season, Central Arkansas and Kansas, missed the next 9, and has been back since the Ohio State game back on Saturday, December 20th. These numbers are wild. Without Seth Trimble in those 9 games, Carolina scored 9.6 fast break points a game. In the 5 games that Seth has played, Carolina is averaging 17.4 fast break points a game. So not quite doubling up that number, but very close to it. Again, 17.4 fast break points with Seth, 9.6 without. And look, it's not Seth scoring all of those points, but it's Seth changing the dynamic so that he and others can get out in transition and go. And when you think about the athletic duo that Seth and Caleb Wilson are together and how they are game changers in that regard, it's ridiculous. And multiple times in that game last night, you saw it. It was Caleb to Seth. It was Jonathan Powell to Seth on the break for the dunk late in the game. It's that kind of stuff that Seth brings that is so next level. And that's just how he's going to play, right? Yes, it brings bigger risk of injury. You saw him falling time after time after time after time last night. But that's what you get with that transition high up tempo thing that you get from Seth. And yes, so you could look at numbers of total fast break points and say, yeah, but Isaac, isn't that tempo related whether Carolina is able to get out and run or not, whether the opponent is a slow team or not? Yes, absolutely it is. But over the course of a season where you're getting more and more sample size, to be able to say 17.4 with and 9.6 without, there are enough data points in each of those that it makes sense. So this is something I'll start keeping tabs on, is Carolina's average fast break points with Seth. The second shady stat of the game, 2.0 here, is the way Carolina was able to dominate points in the paint. And it's kind of cool because when you think about a Florida State team, you think, and I know it's a brand new coach, Luke Laux, who's an alum of Florida State. You think long, you think 18 7-footers on the team, you think how rangy they are, all of that kind of stuff. But North Carolina dominated the points in the paint against this team last night, more than doubling them up, 42-20. And yes, that's not all just Caleb Wilson and Henry Vasar in the paint. It's guys driving to the rim. It's driving, kicking. I guess the kick out, those threes don't count as points in the paint, but everything Carolina was able to do, heck, they got 20 fast break points, and a lot of those are going to be points in the paint. And so 42-20 points in the paint against Florida State. Carolina is able to win in a multitude of ways, and I love how that shows that off. Let's see if there's a couple things in the chat I want to get to. And we had another comment from last night's live chat on YouTube. Jeffrey Polly asked me, and I wasn't able to get to it in real time, did you eat at Pal's while you were in Johnson City? So my parents live in Johnson City, Tennessee. That's where we were for Christmas. Pal's is this great drive-through restaurant where you order at one window, you drive around and pick it up at the other window. It's got this massive hot dog on top of it. It's really cool. There's a bunch of different locations. But yes, Jeffrey and others who might be wondering, this is a place where we go every time we're in Johnson City. The funny thing is we don't even usually typically get a meal. We just drive through and get some Frenchy fries and a drink. I love their peachy tea. It's so good. Hey, I'm a Georgia boy. It's what I do. My kids love the milkshakes. It's all that stuff. But their fries have this really good seasoning on them. It's got a little bit of sweet. I don't even know what it is, but it's phenomenal. So yes, Jeffrey, absolutely. We went to Pal's. You better believe it. And so some other great comments in the chat, just hit really quick here. Our guy Nintendo says, good morning, y'all. Happy New Year. Absolutely, Nintendo. 007 KGB says, I believe he'll be behind Joseph Forte, who won Freshman of the Year. That's a great call. In real time, as I was just rattling some names off, didn't think about Joe Forte, but my goodness, he is Forte in that pantheon of greatest Carolina freshmen ever. I would have loved to see where he was at. Frederick Holding says, Seth should have shot 15 to 17 free throws last night. Seth was 8 of 11 from the free throw line. And yes, there were multiple others where he's getting hacked with no calls on it. And it's frustrating to me because I feel like referees officiate him in a way. It's like, well, you attack so much, so we can't call a foul on all of them. Yes, you can. And yes, you should. If it's a foul, it's a foul. It's a foul. Send him to the free throw line. And that's what I want to see here. And so I know there's some other chats over there as well, and would love to get to them. Maybe Coach Rob and I can get to them on the Thursday show, but I know we got to get out of here. Nintendo says, we're getting spoiled this new year with 2 shady stats of the game. You better believe it, my guy. And to all of you, I hope that you all are having a wonderful New Year's Eve start. I hope that you're going to be have a great time tonight, eat some good food, be safe. Y'all, there's crazy stuff that happens on New Year's Eve. Don't do dumb stuff. You can sit at home and watch Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest. Why we got to continue to call it that long name, I don't know. But you know what's great for me living in Central Time? I can celebrate the ball dropping at 11 p.m. and I don't have to stay up till midnight. We have a fun tradition with all our friends. We always host a party here at our house, and we always do a puzzle. And so our friend Ty got a special puzzle for tonight, and so I can't wait to get into that. You guys, it's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. If you've not subscribed to the show on video and audio, do that right now so you don't miss a second. Great shows coming up the rest of the week, and then we'll be live after the SMU game on Saturday. If you've not checked out the brand new Everydayers Club, do that. If you're not in our Locked On Tar Heels Discord, do that as well. I already said it, but it's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. We'll talk again tomorrow on New Year's Day. It'll be 2026. What on earth is that? But until then, peace.